Welcome to Evolution on the Mic. I am your host, Ariana de la Cruz.
And I'm your co-host, Antoine Dove.
And we are back, y'all. Season 7. Faith in Yourself, Episode 1. You are the answer that you've been waiting for. In our last episode, we discussed how to pass down strong faith from generation to generation and how to be a role model of unwavering faith for others around us. But on today's episode, we will be kicking off our new season, Faith in Yourself, with a motivating topic that will challenge the way that you see yourself on a day-to-day basis. We are often taught that we need to look outside of ourselves for an answer. But what if the answer that you've been waiting for is already inside of you? That is what we're going to be talking about today. I am super excited for this. But before we get into all of that, Antoine, how are you? How have you been doing?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. It's it's really like seasons and things are changing. Springtime's here. We're all getting soon coming closer to summertime. But I was just reminded, I was looking at some of our stuff, like our older videos and things we've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, wow, like we've been in the game at this podcast for a while. Like it's over a year and we've been really diligent with this process. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I just sometimes when we're putting out these episodes, I don't take a moment to stop and just think about all that has happened and transpired since we launched this podcast. And I just, I want to give some space for that today because I thought, that meant a lot to me because when we first started this process of this podcast being, God led, faith led, we went into it not knowing what it would become or what it could grow into be. And it's
Yeah.
just great to see that we've continued to be diligent and persistent despite the challenges we've been faced, despite the times where, we've thought maybe this is not something we should be doing. And I look at today and like I still today get the same excitement from when we did our first episode. Like every time we get a new episode, I have that same excitement. And I'm just grateful for it. I really am. I'm in a place of gratitude right now for God putting this beautiful platform on our hearts to start and creating a space and a community in which we can share this stuff and that there are people who support us. And I appreciate all you guys out there for all the support and love you show. It doesn't go unnoticed. We are thankful for you guys because you all are also pouring into us as we're pouring into you. So thank you for that. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good, Ari. I'm in my gratitude mode right now. I'm
Oh, I
feeling
hear
good.
that. I feel
I'm
that. I
feeling
feel
good.
that. Definitely. And especially it being like season 7, like
Yeah.
season 7 is a very like powerful number to me. It's like one
Yeah.
of my favorite numbers, and it has a lot of meaning. It was like the lucky 7. There's
Yeah.
just so much positivity and goodness that goes into that number for me. So I'm already like in awe at what this season is going to bring because we're talking about faith in ourselves, and
Hmm.
we're talking about something that a lot of people that I know are struggling with, including myself, including you, Antoine.
Yep.
And we're gonna shine some light on this in the course of a couple episodes and really encourage people and empower people to trust themselves and how to trust themselves, and that God gives us that power to cultivate that within us. And it takes practice, right? It's something that doesn't happen over time. And, God knows I'm still in my practice phase because I'm, going through it. As you guys know, I moved to Costa Rica, pura vida over here for me. I've been here, a couple weeks now. And I love it here. I'm so happy here. As soon as I got here, going to the beach, like I live like, right across the street from the beach. It's beautiful. It's everything I've wanted, right? It's everything I wanted. The views is everything I wanted, like the ocean, the mountains. It's surreal. Like, you see, wildlife everywhere. And I'm just like, no way, like this, you gotta be kidding me. I feel like I'm in a dream. I feel like this can't be real. Like, wake me up, And that was like my first couple days. Like I was just like on this huge high. But if I'm gonna be honest, it's different being in another country, right?
Yeah.
You do not have the same comforts that you have being in the United States. You know what I mean? Like they just don't have certain things here that you're used to, you know? There's no Amazon, like, right? If I want to do Amazon, right? I love Amazon. I'm quick on Amazon. But here, everything has really high importation taxes. So I went on Amazon to try to get like literally like paper towels. And the paper towels was $18, but to get it here was like the total was 127. because of all the fees involved. So I'm like, okay, Amazon is out the question for me. And there's not a lot of stores out here like that I'm used to, the brands that I'm used to. I don't have a car out here. And even if I wanted to get one, it's like, well, let me see how long I want to stay here before I make that investment. So there's just certain things that I was just used to having that here I had to adjust to. The climate, it's totally different, the climate here. Guys, I'm from Florida. I was from Florida. The heat there was nothing compared to the heat here. So I had to adjust to the climate. So as I'm going through all these things, like I found the church, but there's no AC in the church. So I'm praying, I'm sweating, and I'm like, oh my God, God, like I'm honestly, I'm getting annoyed here. Like this is not cute anymore. Like, it's nothing that I'm used to. I have, and I have to change, and I have to pivot, and I have to figure it out, and I got to get resourceful. But, can I get a break already? Can I get something that I can hold on to that I'm used to from the States? And it's been a battle for me, but I just feel God constantly telling me, like, girl, I got you. I brought you here for a reason. And I didn't bring you here for comfort. I brought you here for spiritual growth. This is going to change you inside out. Stop looking at the outside of the things that are not working in the way that you want, and know that inside here, we are working in here. We're learning to trust yourself. We are learning to trust God more. And we're learning to trust others and build community. And that is not going to happen overnight, because I've only been here a couple weeks. And God is like, give yourself some time, give yourself some grace, chill out. And for me, it's tough because I'm a person that I do things fast. I want everything fast. Like if it's in my control, I'm the one that's going to try to make it happen as quickly, swiftly as I possibly can. But there are just certain things here that my body has to adapt to. Mentally, I have to adapt to. Spiritually, I have to adapt to, because this is totally different. It's not going to happen overnight. And I've had to come to that realization. But guys, it has been very tough for me. And what it comes down to is, can I trust myself enough that the decisions that I made to be here, even though certain things outside of me sometimes had made me doubt my decision, can I know that these things are for me? Can I just surrender it to God and find joy in the midst of these doubts? And I'm here to tell you guys that you can find joy. You can find peace. You can find inner understanding in the decision that you've made, knowing that God brought you there, right? Knowing that I know God called me here. I know that everything that happened from me planning my move to Costa Rica, the way God made everything go so smooth for me in a flow, with selling all my things, with selling my car, with finding an apartment here, with finding a consultant, because I hired a consultant to help me move here. And that consultant lives in the same city I live in, a couple minutes away. All of that happened. And I'm like, I cannot look now and say, oh, all of that was coincidence. There's no coincidences with God. No. I have to look at those things and remind myself, God did all those things in alignment, in perfect alignment, to get me here. But it wasn't for me to be 100% like giddy and everything was going to work perfectly while I'm here. There's things that I need to work on. There's things that I need to like, what's the word that I'm looking for? That I need to adapt to, right? That I need to figure out. And I'm in my own figuring out phase, but I refuse to be unhappy, frustrated, angry about anything, because ultimately God brought me here for a beautiful reason. And I just have to stand firm and be diligent and consistent in my day-to-day here, so that I can see what God sees, because my human eyes doesn't see it, doesn't fully see it. My spiritual eyes is with it, it sees it, but my human eye doesn't. And I know that there's a lot of people watching that I'm sure have felt that way, that has felt like I've made a decision, or I want to make a decision, and I don't know if this is the right step for me. I've already made the decision and I'm feeling like this probably wasn't it. It's not really working out. Or I'm thinking about making a decision, but I don't know, because nobody really believing in me. And my friends are telling me that I'm crazy for trying that, or thinking that like I'm not good enough for that. And I'm just here to tell you that nothing outside should impact what God already put in here, what God already planted. That shouldn't stop it. It shouldn't hinder it. You should just acknowledge it and see, okay, this is fact of my life, that people are doubting me. I'm doubting myself. But if God put a seed in you, he put an idea, a dream, a passion, something that you want to take action on, it wasn't there in vain. Does that make sense, Antoine? I know I've
Oh,
kind of said a
100%.
lot.
No, please. I was like, please keep going. I am all locked in. Cause yeah, like what you said is exactly right. We love when things are going great. We have exceptional faith when we're not, our back's not against the wall, when things are working in our favor. Oh, we're hallelujah. Thank you, God. Yeah, God, you got me. You got me. But when crap hits the fan, like when things aren't working like you thought, when that wave that you was riding comes to a bit of a just a ripple, how are you going to respond? And I truly believe that God takes us through those moments because, like you said, he's he's not only testing our faith in him, he's also testing our faith in ourselves. Because we are, as we've talked about before, we are a direct lineage, a direct line of God. We are. And so if we how can we have faith in him and not have faith in ourselves? If we are children of God, how can you have faith in your
Mm-hmm.
God but not have faith in you? It just doesn't add up. And so yeah, I'm with you 100%. And I love your vulnerability about the fact of Costa Rica because I think all of us looking, even I'm looking here at your beautiful backdrop. I'm like, man, I'd love to be sitting in Costa Rica right now, and I'm sure you're grateful for it.
Yeah, of
But like you
course.
said, there is this reality in the other side of it, which is like you took a risk that most people would not even dare take, or they think they want to take it until the process begins, and then they're like, okay, this ain't for me. Like they get cold feet, but you went through with it. As you were talking about your experience, even for myself, I feel oftentimes when my back's against the wall or crap's hitting the fan and I'm trying to figure things out,
Yeah.
I want to start looking externally. Like you almost like get into this fight or flight mode and you're looking for all the things around you. Like, what can I grab on to give me that sense of reassurance? And sometimes I don't feel like it really gives me the reassurance that I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, for sure, because we are kind of wired to want validation. We are
Mm,
kind of wired to feel like, well, this person has the answer for me. If they see it in me, then that means that what I see in me is really real. But it's like, well, if my mom, my brother, my dad, my aunt, my best friend, if they don't see it, then I must be bugging, right? And that's
mhm,
kind of like we're wired to do because we want to share our dreams and our passions with other people. And how awesome is it when they agree? But what happens when they don't agree?
mm,
And this also happened to me when I was telling my family members that I was coming to Costa Rica. Like I remember telling my dad, and he got so concerned, like worried, like the crime rate here, and am I gonna be okay? And like getting worried. And then I would get messages from my aunts and my cousins about, oh, your dad is so concerned that you're going to Costa Rica. And I shut down for a couple days, maybe even a week, and started like reconsidering my decision because, oh my God, my dad, is concerned. Like that must mean something. You know what I mean? I love my dad to death. So I wanted his approval. I wanted him to support me. I wanted him to feel safe that I'm making this decision because I'm making this decision with God and not myself,
mhm,
not just myself. And even though I told him that, he still had these concerns. It made me concerned. And it did deter me for a while where I had to call my best friend up, like, I'm kind of having second thoughts about coming here because I don't know, like what. And then I started thinking about my safety. I started being concerned about what might happen to me when I come here because those seeds of his concerns like started really affecting me because it's my dad. It's someone that I really wanted his approval, and it messed with me. Then I had, my aunt, like someone told her, oh, Ariana's moving to Costa Rica. Oh, Ariana needs to mature. She's not mature enough yet. Like, oh my God, like when is she gonna get her life together?
mhm,
I was in my feelings. And then I started to like believe for a minute that I haven't matured, that I'm making crazy decisions, like out of the whim, like, when am I going to get my life together? Because, outside in my family, I don't have kids. I'm not married. I'm still single. What is Ariana doing with her life? Ariana's about to push 40. And now she's moving to another country. This girl's out of her mind. Those things did affect me. And thank God I have my best friend because she always helps me get back into alignment of what God said. Like she helps me
mhm.
like recalibrate myself. And I did. But then I also sat within myself because no matter what my best friend told me or anybody else outside me told me, I had to feel good in here with my decision. I had to know that the decisions that I'm making for me are the right decisions for me. So even though I had outside people kind of comfort me, I had to comfort myself through God. And how did I do that? I got in silent mode, right? I started praying to God. I would meditate, for God to help me expel these negativities that was put on me by outsiders, by people that I loved and valued and wanted their support. And understand that, it's okay if they don't see it yet, God. It's okay if they don't see you in me right now. It's okay because I see you in me right now. And I know that you're guiding me in the right way. And eventually they will see you too. And it's okay, I'm sorry. But that was real for me, And like I would just, giving myself like those positive affirmations for myself. I guess I wanted them to trust me and my decisions because my decisions are made with God. But if my dad and my aunt don't know God the way I know God, they're just looking at it from their human eyes. And we cannot allow ourselves to get advice from people that only see things from the human eyes, So that is the one thing we got to make sure we're doing when we're going off on a new plan, on a new course, on a new goal, on a new venture, is be careful who you get advice from. Be careful who support you feel like you need. Be careful of the people that are giving you their 2 cents, because it might not be of God. It might be of the enemy or something trying to distract you. And we don't want that, because it can really bring you down and make you pivot on not going the way that God wants you to go. Keep people around you that know God, that know who God is. And if you don't have anyone, you have yourself. Mm-hmm. If you don't have anybody that you can go to give you the confidence of what you're doing, God will give you that confidence. He will remind you of what he said, because God says it. He had told you what it is that he wants for you. He gave you that vision. He gave you that nudge. He gave you that passion, that dream. He gave it to you. So go back to him, like, God, like, I'm struggling with believing in this again. I'm struggling. Can you please remind me of what you said and who you are, so that I can believe in myself right now, so that I can have peace again and take the action that is needed for this. And he will, because God comes through each and every single time when we go to him with faith, with prayer, with surrender, with an open heart and an open mind. God comes through. God came through for me, and I'm sure that he can come through for you if you're finding yourself in this situation right now. But unfortunately, yes, we do want that validation, and it is not worth it when the support and the validation that we're getting is just going to minimize us instead of bring us up.
100%. 100%. I mean, what you said that was so powerful to me is that there is a reason God told you something and didn't tell everyone else. And there's oftentimes when we're going through our journey, and I've experienced this in my own self, where like when I had lost my job before and everyone's telling me, oh, just go back, go into the same industry, do the same thing. And yeah, I certainly can, but that was not what God was calling me to do in that moment. We talked about this with Lavelle. When Lavelle came on the show, same thing. Like where God was calling her to go and to do was very unconventional to what everyone else in the world thought. And to me, that is a sign that God is moving in your life, because you're doing something that's different. You're doing something that goes against the status quo. You're doing something that's probably challenging you. If you're feeling challenged in whatever you're going through right now, just know that God is with you, because God is challenging you because he sees something greater in you. He sees that next level that you can't see yet. And I love what you said, because like it's easy to seek validation from people around us, but the people around us have to be, and I'm not saying you have to be a holy roller. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. What I am saying is the relationship that they have with God is directly correlated to the answer and the feedback that they give to you. If they don't have a relationship with God, the feedback they give to you will not be aligned with the place that God's taking you. Because if they have a relationship with God, God will nudge them and say, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Don't bother her. She knows what she's doing. I got her on the track. Don't worry about what
Exactly.
she's doing.
Yeah.
Just support her and pray for her.
Yes.
I've got that. Everyone else
Exactly.
who sees that, they
Exactly.
want to put their 2 cents in. And I love that. Like my mom's pastor, like a while back, and this has been it's been my theme for the year, really, honestly. And he had
Yeah.
told us in church, and he was saying, God is our source. Everything else is a resource. So when you look at things around you, and if you're praying for something and you're wanting this or whatever it may be in your life, and you're looking for an outside, you haven't consulted God, you're looking at something outside of
Mm-hmm.
you to do something for you, that is a resource, meaning that it's a
Yeah.
recycled source. It's something that God has already
Mm.
provided, and now God's bringing back to you as a resource. The true source is God. And we all tend to
Oof.
forget that. I've forgot that in my own life.
I
When
think
crap
that.
hits the fan, I'm looking around like, what can I do? Who can I? When the first thing I need to be doing is God, what's happening right now? I need to be sitting in silence. I need to be sitting in that time. I need to be spending with him. I need to be locked in with him. I need to be so close in with him that I'm breathing his air. I'm breathing what he has because he's breathing the life that I need to survive what I'm going through. And I love that you just shared that, because that hit me on a whole nother level that I wasn't even prepared for, Ari. I wasn't even prepared for that. And what you just
Yeah.
said just spoke some life into me.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it definitely, reminded me of, just the things that I struggled with in this journey and how tough it's been. And I'm glad to share it because, I made it to Costa Rica. Like I'm here. I'm still going through my little, trials here, like God can, when is it gonna end? Like, damn, I feel like I'm the toughest warrior. And it's like, okay, God, but I'm human too, but there's a lot of people that don't even start.
Right.
There's a lot of people that start and stop because it's too scary. It's too big. There's too much that they gotta sacrifice. There's too much that they need to let go of. It's too much things that they need to do. And it's like, well, what if I do all of this and it don't work out and I done wasted all that time, or I done spent all that money, or I done sold all my things, or I done invested into something or someone and that fell through. No, it's okay. If God put it in you, he's going to see it through you. God is going to plant something and see it through. But a lot of us don't water that plant. A lot of us are just looking at it, wishing, hoping, praying. That plant is going to grow. It's not going to grow on its own. You have to do work. You got to do something. It is not just going to sprout on its own. You have to nurture it, take care of it, put in the work, take the action steps. And it's not going to always feel good. You're not going to always know that you're making the right decisions. You're not always going to 100% know because God doesn't give us the whole picture in our human eyes. And if you're going to continue to look at it from those lenses, you're never going to take the first step and you're never going to see it through. And this is for, I'm sure, a lot of you that are watching that are on the edge of your seat, like, girl, I hear you. I hear you, but I'm scared. I hear you, but, I tried it before and it didn't work. I hear you, but I don't know if I can really trust myself, But my challenge for you is, do you trust God? Do you trust what he has said? Do you trust that God can come through? Has there been a time where God already has came through for you? And it's like, yeah, I really didn't know how I was going to come out of that one, but whew, I came out of it. Maybe your rent was almost due and you were almost at eviction, and then something came through and you had an extra $1,000 to pay that rent. And it's like, who God came through? Was it, your car broke down and you're like, I don't know if this car is gonna, run for one more day. And then you find a mechanic that gives you a good discount and you're able to fix your car. God came through, Is it, one of your kids, probably a little badass driving you crazy. And then you're like, God, I don't know what I'm going to do with this little person. And God comes through and, shifts the situation. And now, that badass is now a person that honors God. Like, God comes through, and we know, everybody that's watching, there's at least one major thing that God has done for you. And if he did that one time, he can do it again and again and again and again, because that's just who he is. And if we have that belief in him and everything that God is, we are, then we can have that belief in ourselves. And we can take the actions literally blind as ever, like closed eyes. God, I don't see nothing with my physical eyes, but have the eyes wide open spiritually, and knowing that that vision that God gave, that it's going to be okay, that I'm working this out for you. Everything is working out for your good. Knowing that in the spiritual eyes and following that eye instead of this eye, something good is going to sprout out of that. There's just no way that it's not. It's just, there's no way. But a lot of us just want to see things from these eyes here, from the physical, and get distracted because nothing is working out, or I don't see how that's even possible. Nobody believes in me. Nobody's supporting me. Can you imagine how many people would have not made it in life if they were just waiting for someone to believe in them? If they were waiting to see it with their physical eyes? We would never have lights. We would never have airplanes. We would never have cell phones. We would never have internet. We would never have laptops. A lot of the things that we have, we wouldn't have, but it was somebody that believed that this can happen. Even if no one else has done it before. It took that one person to believe it's possible. Because of that belief, they took action. And from that action came the reality of the thing that they only saw in their spiritual eye. And that's just the way that it works. But a lot of us are too quick to stop, to give up, to surrender, because we don't want to make the sacrifice because it's painful. Okay. No pain, no gain. You know, there's something that I thought about earlier, and it was like, staying the same is hard. Change is also hard. Choose your hard. It's going to be hard. You know, when I was in Florida, like, I lived in this really high-end community, and people would look down on me. Like, who is this girl that's able to afford this rent here? And they would look down on me. And at times it would make me feel small. And I had a lot of self-talk to big myself up again, because, you know, there was a lot of, you know, mainly predominantly white people in that community. And I was one of the few Hispanics, like probably like maybe 1 out of 2. And they will always make me feel less than. Even when my visitors came, they felt uncomfortable because it was like the way people are looking at me, like in disgust. And I remember, like, this is hard. Like, you know, like, I live here, I pay my rent. Like, I'm a resident like everybody else. I could afford it like everybody else. Like, I'm awesome. I'm a star. I have this light to me. Like, why they don't see that? Why they don't see that? And I was feeling small. And that was hard, but I could have stayed there. And I could have chose that hard. And then, or come here and do change. And I'm here, and it's still kind of hard because it's a lot of things I need to adjust to, adapt to. I need to cultivate my being to adjust to this way of life, because it's different from the States. Any country you go to, it's very different. But choose your hard. Staying the same, keeping things the same. I'm sure whatever your situation you're in, it's hard. You need more money. You want a promotion. You know, you want a better car. Like, whatever you're in is hard. So why don't you just make a change and have it be hard, but at least it's gonna amount to something that God had wanted for you and that you're achieving, that is gonna make you happier, that's gonna benefit you to the max.